Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Neelima Entertainment. In today's video, we are going to talk about something that has become a very important skill in the AI world, and that is prompt engineering. Okay, now maybe you have heard this term before, or maybe this is the first time you are hearing it. Either way, don't worry because in this video we are going to understand everything from scratch in a very simple way. Okay, we will see what prompt engineering is and why people are talking so much about it, different prompting techniques and where it's used in real life, and some common mistakes beginner make, and how you can start writing better prompts immediately. Okay, and trust me, once you understand these concepts you will start getting much better results from tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, Claude, Copilot, and much any AI tool. So let's get started. Now, before we understand what prompt engineering is, let's understand one simple thing. What is a prompt? Do you know what is prompt? Just well, whenever you type something into ChatGPT, that is called a prompt. Okay, whatever you type in the ChatGPT search bar, that is known as a prompt. And maybe you ask something like explain Python or anything. That is a prompt. Okay, like write a uh, LinkedIn post and anything what you want to know from the AI tool like ChatGPT's. That input, that instruction is nothing but a prompt. Okay, um, basically anything you type and give to the AI is called a prompt. Simple, that's it. Now here's something interesting. Many people use AI, right, and complain that the answers are not good or satisfactory. Okay, sometimes they even say ChatGPT is not giving a proper answer. But most of the time, the problem is not the AI. The problem is the way we ask the question. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose I ask ChatGPT, teach me Python. No, obviously it will teach me. But think it think about it for a second. Python is huge. Should I start with basics? Should it teach projects? Should it explain interview questions? Or should it focus on web development? The AI has no clue what exactly I need, right? So now imagine I ask her, I'm a complete beginner, teach me Python loops with simple examples and give me a few practice questions. Then you can see the difference, okay? Just wait, I will practically show it how it works. See, now I am asking ChatGPT to teach me Python. But I didn't mention anything like you have to start with basics or teach me project related or interview questions related to Python, anything. Nothing, right? Just simply teach me Python. gave like this: basics, operations, loops, conditional statements, and some mini project and practice exercise as well. Now, if I mention, let uh, let us assume I'm a complete beginner. Teach me Python loops with simple examples, and also give me practice questions. Now you can see the difference. See, it mentioned what is loop and what are the types of loops, how loops will work, and everything related to loops. Example, problem, and some practice questions related to this topic. Okay, so everything it mentioned clearly. So now the AI ChatGPT clearly understands what I want, and because my instruction is clear, the answer becomes much better. And that's exactly what prompt engineering is. Okay. Okay, it is a skill of giving better instructions to the AI so that in return you get the better result of what you have asked earlier in the prompt. Okay, that is what prompt engineering is. It is that simple. Then why is prompt engineering becoming such a big thing, right? Everyone has that question. Okay, think about how many people are using AI today. Students are using it for studying, and developers are using it for coding, right? And content creators are using it for ideas, right? And business are using for email generations and reports, customer support, and much more, right? Almost everyone is using AI. So, but here is the interesting part: two people can use the same AI tool, right? Person 1 and person 2 uses same tool like ChatGPT. Okay, they uses the same tool. One person gets an perfect answer, okay, and the other person gets completely average answer. The difference is usually not the AI. The difference is the prompt. Okay, this is the main difference, and that's why prompt engineering is becoming such a valuable skill. In fact, people who know how to use AI properly can often finish hours of work in just a few minutes, right? Now, now let's talk about something really important, that is what actually makes a good prompt. Okay, whenever I write a prompt, I usually think about four simple things like who am I? Who am I? Okay, and what do I want? My needs. Who am I in the sense? I have to mention the role of mine to the AI and what are the needs. Okay, what do I want? What information should I give to the AI? And how do I want the answer? That's it. These four rules. Okay, let's take a simple example. Suppose I ask to create a study plan. Let's see what it gives. Of course, the AI will definitely create one study plan. Yeah. Um, but it created some TSA, coding related projects, everything for months. Did I mention that? No, right? For whom I didn't mention, like a school student or a college student, someone preparing for UPSC. Nothing, right? The AI doesn't know. No, instead, imagine. I say create a study plan for UPSC student. See, it assumed for 12 months, 1 year period, and gave accordingly. Right? So now things become much better. The ChatGPT knows who am I. I'm preparing for UPSC, right? And it knows what I want. I need a study plan. And it knows how I want the answer. Right? How I want the answer means I need a plan in a tabular form. See, since I mentioned give me in a tabular format, it gave accordingly. Weekly timetable and daily timetable as well. Okay. Naturally, the output becomes much more useful, right? This is why context is important. Context is simply background information. For example, I am a beginner. I'm preparing for interviews. I'm creating a YouTube channel. These small details help AI understand your situation. Okay. So these small details help AI understand your situation better. Okay. Next comes the instruction. This is simply the task you want AI to do. Okay. Maybe uh, explain a topic or maybe create a roadmap. You're giving a task to the AI. Okay. Maybe return a blog or to generate a code, anything. Okay. Then comes to the input data. This is the information you provide to the AI. Okay. Whatever the information you give to the AI is called input. Okay. Maybe it is an article, maybe a paragraph, maybe a upload a document or anything. Okay, and finally, tell AI how you want the answer. Format is very important. You need the response in a PDF format or a flow chart or in a diagrammatical format or like in a table format or anything. You have to mention the prompt. Sorry, you have to mention the format in the prompt. Okay, so that AI knows how you want the response and it gives accordingly. Do you want bullet points or not? So mention everything like a short answer or a detailed explanation. These things might seem small, but they make a huge difference. And so now let's look at some really useful prompting techniques. The first one is persona prompting. This is the first one. Okay. Uh, the idea here is very simple. Instead of directly asking a question, you give a role to the AI. For example, just telling uh, ChatGPT to act as a software engineer or a fitness trainer, okay, or act as a career counselor or act as a maths teacher, like that. Okay, you're giving a role to the ChatGPT AI. Now, the AI starts thinking from the perspective of that role. Okay, do you understand my point? For example, if I ask, how should I prepare for placements? I'll get a normal answer. But if I say, act as an experienced software engineer and guide me for placements, then the answer becomes much more focused, right? I hope you understand. And that's the power of persona prompting. This is a main prompting. It means giving a role to the AI. And next, another useful technique is audience audience prompting. Here, you are telling AI who the explanation is for, who is the who are the audience for this. For example, explain artificial intelligence to a 10-year-old child or explain artificial intelligence to a BTech student. Same topic. Here, the difference is the audience, right? This is the only difference, which is audience, a 10-year-old child and a BTech student. These audience are different, right? And different explanation. 10-year-old child needs a simple basic explanation, while BTech student needs some uh, relevant information for he already have some knowledge on it, right? So it gives a explanation according to that audience. Okay. Now let's talk about three prompting techniques. that you will hear very often, okay? Very important. The first one is zero shot prompting. Uh, it's actually very simple. You directly ask AI to do something without giving any example. You directly ask the question to the AI and then it will generate some random answer. That simple. For example, summarize this article in 5 points. That is called zero shot prompting. Understand? And the second one is few shot prompting. Okay. Here we first show a few examples, like example 1 and example 2. Then we ask AI to continue the pattern. For example, positive review. Okay. Excellent product. For positive review, give excellent product. And for negative feedback, give poor. Okay. Now classify amazing customer support. Since examples are already given, AI understands the pattern much better, right? For positive review, it gives excellent, and for negative review, it gives poor. It has some idea by the examples. So that is what we call few shot prompting. Okay. Now let's talk about one of the most important prompting technique, very powerful technique. That is third one, chain of thought. This sounds technical, but you have actually seen it before. Think about your maths teacher. When you're solving a problem, when solving a problem, do they directly jump to the final answer? No, right? They solve it by step. Step 1, and then they go to the step 2, like that, right? First this, and then this. Finally, out. We can ask AI to do the same thing. Instead of saying solve the answer, solve the problem, we can say solve this problem in a step by step manner and then give me the solution and explain your thinking. Many times you will notice that the answer becomes more accurate because of chain of thought prompting. Because you're asking in a step by step format, right? Especially for maths, coding, and logical reasoning questions, uh, chain of thought process is a very good technique, and that's why this technique is so powerful. Okay, now let's quickly see where prompt engineering is used and applications of prompt engineering. Students use it for notes, summaries, and quizzes, and learning concepts from the AI. Okay, and developers. So it is useful. It is applicable on the education, and developers use it for coding, debugging, and documentation, and content creators for use it for captions, posts, and ideas. Okay, business. Businessmen use it for emails, reports, advertisements, customer support, everything, whatnot. Researchers use it to summarize large amount of information. Summary. Okay. So prompt engineering is useful almost everywhere. Okay. In every sector. Now, before we finish, let's talk about some common mistakes we made while giving prompt. Now, the first mistake is being too vague, uh, which means, for example, explain database. That's very broad, right? Instead, just say explain database to a beginner using simple real life examples. That is much but better than the previous one, right? And earlier you have just simply asked, right? Explain database. No, that is not the way. You have to mention clearly. Explain database to a beginner using simple real life examples. That is a way much better than the previous. And the second mistake is not giving enough context, which means remember AI only knows what you tell to it, right? So always provide enough information. And the third mistake is not mentioning the output format. If you want bullet points, say bullet points. If you want a table, then mention table. And if you want a short answer, mention that. And the fourth mistake is expecting perfect results on first try itself. So, prompt engineering is not a one shot process. Sometimes you need to improve your prompt, add more details, and try again and again until you got the answer. Okay? Even experienced people do the same, right? So, before ending this video, let me give you one simple golden formula that you can remember. That is role, context, task, and then the output format. This is a best formula you can remember for prompt engineering. Very useful. Uh, for example, uh, I'm telling AI as act as a career counselor. I'm giving career counselor as a role, right? And I'm a third year engineering student preparing for placements. This is the context. Create a 30-day roadmap. I'm giving the task to create a 30-day roadmap and show it in a table. I'm also mentioning the format, that is table format, tabular format. That's a really strong prompt. This is what a good prompt looks like. If you follow this formula, your prompts will immediately become better, right? So that's the prompt engineering in a simple and beginner friendly way. Just remember one thing, AI is powerful, but the quality of the answer a lot depends a lot on the quality of the prompt. The better your instructions, the better your results would be. And that's exactly
why prompt engineering is becoming such an important skill today. And I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. And if you have any queries or want more videos on generative AI, let me know in the comment box. And do join in my WhatsApp channel. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.